Approaching the Fortuna lander, Judy recites the words she will use to reconnect with her estranged father. She quickly enters when waking sequence fails and searches for Grant's cryotube before manually opening it. To revive him, Judy performs CPR before finding a defibrillator. This action successfully brings back life into his body. When he regains consciousness, all Grant can ask is who she is. At that moment in time, all Judy could reply was an astronaut. John and Dawn follow Maureen as she guides the Jupiter onto their prior planet. She informs them that, in order to get to Alpha Centauri, they'll need to uncover each piece of a broken robot and reassemble it. Everything is still exactly where they left it on the planet's surface. As soon as they landed, Maureen makes clear there would be no request for help from this second robot. Its role was already decided before arrival. Will overhears Smith telling the other campers to ready their belongings. He hastily informs them that his sister will be back soon, when Judy has yet to return. Smith sensibly points out that allowing more people on board could reduce oxygen levels for those already on board the Jupiter. Thus will suggest they prioritize docking as opposed to worrying over who is present in their company. Asking how she can help him, he commands her to immediately alert him if robot appears missing. Something which Smith promptly notices it indeed is gone from sight. She queries Will's belief that something has happened to it and makes the suggestion that there may be something on Earth that may harm it. Liam inquires if Penny will miss their home without the rules when they are on the hunt for robot. She discloses that she assumed it would only be a matter of months until her and her family reunited, although now is uncertain when exactly this reunion might take place. Liam notices that Penny's hair is standing up in every direction. Consequently, she hurriedly runs off to notify Will about what has transpired. When Grant inquired about the selection process for the Resolute, Judy informed him of its qualifications. After explaining what happened to their colonist group and expressing shock at her young age as captain, he asked why she knows so much about him, but quickly suggested cooling it on further discussion. Apparently a well-known figure on Earth according to Judy's response, something she had long wanted an opportunity to experience firsthand. She then shared how a robot aided them in reaching this faraway place. When they both touch the boulder, just as it happened on the Resolute mission, Penny returns Will to where he was standing when his hair suddenly stood up. Smith follows after him to discover that she and Maureen experienced a similar event, suggesting alien technology lies beyond the wall. Encouraged by this revelation, Will pulled back some vines covering a tunnel entrance and proposed they investigate further inside. Dawn, John, and Maureen take the chariot as far as possible before Dawn and John march onward into the rainfall with Maureen trailing closer behind. When they arrive at their destination, however, search and rescue was nowhere to be found. The men's audio recordings were countered by poor video footage due to its sporadic quality. As Will and Penny ventured into the mysterious tunnel, with a rope connected to Smith for safety, they stumbled across an illuminated door accompanied by images carved on its surface. When attempting to contact Robot to no avail, their troubles began when the portal doors abruptly shut while they were examining recent footprints in the dust. It was clear that this could be more dangerous than initially imagined. If robots were here, then both of them might be in grave danger. Clad in his suit from before, Grant proposes they go back to the camp via the chariot of their lander and carry out the pods belonging to other crews. Judy probes him on what part of Earth he found hardest to say goodbye to. He shares that it was a tough decision for them all, but confesses he later lamented not bringing along his beloved ice cream. With understanding in her eyes, Judy urges them forward because she knows exactly how he feels. Maureen warned John and Dawn that the SAR was determined to get their hands on Will, so they needed to hurry back to the chariot in order to bring reinforcements. Will postulates that despite the fact that the footsteps resembled those of robots, they were in fact created by a natural entity. When Smith's cry reverberates through the tunnel, nobody answers. Will passionately proclaimed that in order to protect their cherished ones, they needed to venture inside the treacherous tunnels, just like his parents did before them. He wrapped Penny around him and admitted he was petrified, despite his resolute facade. As a loud banging sound came from the locked door nearby, it eventually opened up with Smith holding onto a crowbar. Robot briskly walked through another opening in the room and gestured for everyone to follow suit. Will inquired as to why they should go, but Robot merely replied, "Danger." Grant looks to Judy, inquiring about what she believes is happening on Earth as the chariot steadily pulls back towards camp. Curiosity escalating even further when he mentions that his mother was always scared of him journeying into space. Judy reveals her parents are in fact heading from outer space to a colony. While meteors come plummeting down all around them, Judy swiftly jumps up and lassos one of their delivered pods with a crane line before it can escape. Knowing they need shelter fast, Grant steers the vehicle into an adjacent crater just in time to dodge any destructive shockwave produced by a meteorite collision. Grant claims that his mother taught him how to drive, and Judy claims that her father taught her how to be brave. As the robotic sentinels patrol ominously close by, John, Maureen, and Don race to board their ship, the Jupiter. With fear in their hearts for the safety of their children, they begin to power down with much difficulty as uncertainty shrouds them all. Then suddenly, scuff marks on the entrance door catch Don's eye. Moments later, movement is detected from within. Climbing up himself to investigate further, John spies a shadowy figure attempting to unlock a chamber, but he can't tell who it is. Navigating the tunnels, Robot leads them to a colossal chamber loaded with robotic equipment. The mysterious creator of this strange place is absent, and so Smith proclaims that all robots are merely as good as their creators. Despite Will's expectations, they realize they cannot reprogram themselves. When the robot begins speaking about its family before leaving to help them in some way, everybody starts wondering if it is referring to theirs or its own family. The Robinson and Don's hearts leaped at the sound of movement down the corridor in the Jupiter. With their kids as their ultimate hope, John valiantly set out to capture it. As the others are led away by robotic guidance, Penny voices her concern as she hears "danger" uttered over and over again. What could this warning mean? Don takes charge of wiring the electricity that John is transporting to a control panel. Will stares at the star map, projected by Robot in a sense of dread, as he sees it enlarge and show them an image of their beloved Jupiter 2 engulfed in flames. Will can't help but fear for his parents' safety. Unable to assist them from such a distance, he questions why Robot is showing this vision to him if they are helpless anyway. Maureen leads the robot into the common room, before trapping it by shutting the door. Will phones his parents and their conversation is transmitted through Robot's microphone. Just then John prepares to shock it with some wires in hand. Fortunately, Maureen recognizes that their kids can hear them talking and commands John to stop. But not before Will realizes Robot was sent as Scarecrow. Immediately upon this realization, Scarecrow comes to a halt. When Maureen notices they are being overheard, she asks if Robot had been dispatched on purpose, at which point Will confirms her suspicion. Maureen extolled her daughter's book to Penny, who then hugged the Scarecrow as Maureen embraced the robot. Judy seemed well off according to Penny, and Will informed his parents that she was all right but not in their company yet. Don inquired about Alpha Centauri, when Will answered that they had been diverted away from it and were still far off from its location. As their signal began weakening, Maureen instructed Will to switch off the car once they arrived at Alpha Centauri so no one could locate them. As the signal fades away, Maureen wraps her arms around John in a loving embrace. Together, they get to work on Scarecrow, and she declares their task with certainty. Grant's revelation of the 2-mile drop to the camp prompts Judy to recall her mother's idea that any problem can be solved. As Grant notices her presence, she introduces herself as his daughter, whom he never knew existed prior to leaving Earth. With a firm handshake, they express their polite greetings and greet each other warmly with "nice to meet you." As Will surveys the building, Smith senses that he hadn't disclosed to his parents that she was alive due to him being a protector and shielding her from possibly going to prison as an uninvited stowaway. She compliments him on being a decent man with original programming, when Will brings up why he never connected with his family before their long-term maroonage in this place. After Smith and Penny leave, Will inquires Robot whether finding Scarecrow was its way of apologizing for what happened between them previously. Before launching off a flare gun into the sky, he expresses gratitude towards Robot by saying, "Thank you." Will realize that the original inventors of the robots were likely no longer living, and deduce that their programmed commands must be outdated. It became clear what was needed to resolve this issue, a way to inform them of this truth. As soon as Will hears danger, he worries if his efforts will remind the robot about him. At its current location, a robotic arm precisely inserts and activates an object. Once active, it emits the iconic phrase "Danger, Will Robinson," serving as a reminder of caution to those nearby. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notification for more movie recaps.